So hello everyone. Shantanu, am I audible clearly?
Yes, you are audible.
Perfect. So hi everyone. I am Akshit Madan. I am co-founder at Algorithm, and today we are going to have a session with Mr. Rahul Patel, who is director at Office of CTO of DhiWise. So before we begin, I want to do a simple icebreaker, a simple activity. So you guys just put your city name and your favorite language, coding language, in a discussions page, so that it should be a little bit interactive before others join. So let's see. So you have to put your city name with your favorite coding language in the discussion page. So Asif is from Pune, Vedant also from Pune, C Sharp, JavaScript. So I'm also from Pune and my favorite coding language is Python, but I'm an app developer in Flutter. So let's see. Okay, Shantanu, I'm waiting.
Hello, Akshit.
Yeah,
Am I audible?
yes.
Sure. There was some glitch. Can we start again if you guys have?
No, if it is the recording issue, then I'm recording.
No, I don't know. Are you sharing something?
No, I'm not sharing something.
Uh,
Okay.
if your video is not visible to me, that's fine.
Uh, my screen
Is
recording
it
or
possible for you to record? Because I think there is some glitch here.
no, I'm recording. I'm already recording.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So till others are writing, hi Rahul. So can we have a simple introduction of yourself, and you can also continue with the vision and mission of DhiWise. So all those people who are new over here, they will also know what is DhiWise and what it actually does. That would be great.
Yeah, thank you, Akshit, and thank you everyone for joining. So, I'm Rahul Patel, and I have been working as a director in Office of CTO in DhiWise. So, I have 200 plus application development, experience for about 7 plus years, and yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. So, if we speak about DhiWise, so the vision of DhiWise is to empower developers in a way that they can increase their productivity. And if we speak about our vision is to develop the most intelligent programming platform that has been ever built. So that is the vision, and if we talk about mission, then we have been working to automate most of the development life cycle of, let's say, backend technologies like Node.js, Laravel, and if we speak about front-end technologies and mobile technologies like Android, iOS, and Flutter. With that, React.js as well.
Oh, great. So, like everyone over here is a student, I'm also a student. So, I think that most of us would like to know how DhiWise is planning to help students out of this.
To help a student, the first thing that should be there is by using DhiWise, the student will get to know that what are the industrial standards while they shift from their academics to their career.
Right.
So once you start using DhiWise, you will be able to know that what are the industrial standards for code quality, or how you should write the code, which architecture should be used. So these are the factors that will help just by inputting some requirement into DhiWise. Let's say if you are building a Node.js application, then you need to provide us, as in DhiWise, the model. Then you will have the whole CRUD APIs with that. So with that, you will be able to know that these are the things, or these are the architectures that are industrially approved, and that are in use or in currently in trending in the industry. So that's how it will help a student to learn things which takes some time if you try to do it by your own, or if you don't have proper guidance, then I would say it would take more time to get into those things. So initially it will help you as in students to go around such part of the industrial.
Right. So, by industrial standards, you mean, or I can also relate that whenever a student is there, he's from second year or third year, and he gets his first internship. So, whatever he has learned in college, that is not related to what he gets as a work in his internship or at his office, right? So, do you mean by that only industrial standards, right? So, the project structure or the company that the structure they are following, that is not related to the college. So, that means the device will help them to get in touch with the industrial standards.
Yes.
So, a simple question, like whenever coder is coding on VS Code or Android Studio, there are a few tasks that are redundant. They have to do again and again, like copy pasting the code or the UI work. So, how that thing can be improved, or how device can help in the development speed and development efficiency?
So if we talk about mobile application development of mobile application, the first thing comes is the UI design and UI and UX, we can say.
Right.
So the first thing that the developer needs to work on is to replicate the whole design that has been developed in any of the designing tool, Figma, Adobe, or Sketch, etc., into the respective technologies code. Either it can be Android, iOS, or Flutter. So to place a button or to place a text field, it's a no illogical task, right? Or you can say it's a repetitive or mundane. So how DhiWise helps it in a way that if you provide that design to DhiWise, right, it would do that work on behalf of yourself, right? And frankly speaking, it would hardly take a couple of minutes to generate the whole design into the code itself. Right. So the part that is that consumes most of the time in mobile application development, that converting design into UI, will be completed in couple of minutes. So you will be having a lot of time to explore certain algorithms for your application's core logic. Let's say if we are developing some e-commerce or some complicated application, then you need to invest more time in that rather than the UI, right?
Right.
So that's how DhiWise will give you the booster in your development, so that you can focus on the task that really matters to the product itself.
Right. So, like the most common problem is that there is no visualization, there is no interaction in VS Code and Android Studio. I will give a simple example. Let's say I'm integrating an API or I'm integrating the database, any database. So, people or the students who are new in this field, technological field, they don't know, they are not seeing any interaction, they are not seeing any visualization, how things are actually happening. So, can DhiWise help in that also? Is there any visualization things that are happening in DhiWise?
Yeah. So, you just mentioned the API integration. So when I started my career as an Android developer, I used to generate bugs while integrating API. Let me tell you how. So generally we need to bind data that has been received from the API to the view, or we need to store it somewhere. So we need to identify the keys of the parameter. Let's say there is a user and its name is first name. So I generally tend to do typo mistake while writing those stuff, and when I built it again, I was getting errors. So if you go to DhiWise, we have taken care of such things that if you want to bind certain data to a view, then it's just a click away, right? It gives you the clarity. There won't be any typo mistakes. So that was specifically for API integration. But if you go to DhiWise panel, then it's visually appealing, I would say, and it's very clear about what input you will add, set up, and what exactly output you are going to get. Let's say if you want to set up navigation, then there will be specific steps. Select screen if you want to close the previous screen or not, sort of things. And once you do that, do those inputs, and you will specifically know that by clicking this checkbox or by entering this option, you will get exactly what you need. So it gives you clarity, and it's already visually. The second example was if you have explored the database module, then to create a database in mobile technology, it's a mundane task, right? You need to write everything. But if you go to DhiWise and database, then it's in a tabular format. You just need to add your table name or column name, and rest of the things can be selected. So that's how it's already visually appealing, and it's helping out a user to do their task in an easier manner.
Right. So you just mentioned that you started as an Android developer. So being an industrial expert, can you share your journey? Like, how did you get into tech? How did you decide that I have to go in Android development? Because all the students who are over here, they are second year or third year, maximum third year. So they are still researching about their own interest. How did you find that you are interested in Android development only?
Actually, I was not exactly, my goal was to go to take computer engineering as an academic, and then there was something, a spark of to work on the mobile application. Before I was not sure, to go with iOS, Android, and sort of things, but eventually I moved to Android. And if we speak about my career, then when I joined Coruscate Private Limited, then I was the only developer who has been working on Android development, and I was a fresher, or you can say intern or a trainee. So that part for me was a bit difficult to know that what are the industrial standards, how should I code, because when I started working, then I used to write everything in a single file, and that's a vast way to to develop any application or anything, right? So it took some time for me to to go each and every phases. What is the architecture? Why I should use these? What are the object oriented concepts? Where should I apply it? Right? In theory, we all know, as a student, we all know that these are the object oriented principles. But exactly how should I use it in while development? So it took some time, let's say 6 months or a year to to figure out all those things. But that's exactly what DhiWise can help student as well at the initial level. That if you start generating application from DhiWise, and if you go through the code that has been generated, you will be able to see that the clean code architecture is implemented, the MVVM architecture is there. If we speak about Flutter, then there is GetX. So everything that are trending right now, and which are proven, not exactly only trending, but which are also proven architectures or design patterns.
Right.
So those things will be there. So eventually you will get the primary booster in your academics as well.
Right. So, but there are already a few products in market, like on which you can just go and you can drag drop things, but they are like no code platforms. And you have mentioned in your website that you are a pro code platform. So, what's the basic difference between a no code and pro code? So, how DhiWise is different from the such platforms which starts from like Wix or WordPress? So, how they are different from DhiWise?
So no code. If we speak about no code, then anyone, as in layman,
Right.
can go there and they can develop whatever they want. But there are a lot of restrictions. Let's say, sorry, if you go on X no code platform, right? If you sign up there, then there will be restriction in terms of in terms of the functionality they have been providing. Right? So let's say, for example, if you want to build an application, you go to X no code platform and you have created the whole application. Now the thing is, you need to have notifications as well, push notifications, but they are not providing that support in that platform. So there won't be any way that you will be able to implement the notification, because the first thing, it is restricted to their platform only. Second thing, they will not give you the source code itself. It will stay with them, and they just give a provision to upload your application directly to respective stores, either Android or Apple or Google Play. So you are stuck right there.
Right.
The second thing, how we are different. So currently what we are doing is, once you submit the design or once you submit your model, we tend to generate the code. On top of that, we do have API integrations and other features. If you are interested to integrate it, you can do it. But once you are done with all of the things, then you will be able to download the source code and you will be the owner of it. So all your application will not, there won't be any roadblocks, and you will be able to achieve what exactly your goals are. So that's how pro code means we are empowering the developers. It's not about the layman can just come onto DhiWise panel and they will be able to create the application, because it needs basic level, basic knowledge of the technology that you need to work on.
Right.
Like if you want to generate an Android application, you must know what is navigation and sort of things, right? You will be able to use it.
Right. So that means that on such websites, they are like saying you don't need a developer. But in DhiWise, you say that we empower the development because you give the code only, and people can work on that code. They can make the modifications, right? So, like based on this fact, it means that it is.
I do have another thing. Let's say if you develop certain things using no code and you achieved your goal from that platform itself, but the solution that has been generated, right? It won't be scalable. So it will be restricted to there only, right? So if there needs to be certain different modules, like you need to integrate audio video conferencing in your app. So that won't be possible. Or if you need to scale it from, let's say, 10,000 users to a billion users, so that would be hard for you as a developer. Eventually you will get the basic version out of it, but if you need to scale it, then it's a constraint in no code platforms.
Right. So that means it is also going to help the small scale startups who don't have currently the development cost or to pay the developers, but they can come on DhiWise and they can make their startup come into the market because there is scalability and there are almost no restrictions, right?
Of course. So if we speak about startups, then startup depends on their ideas, right? If there is an idea, there can be a startup, and the idea needs to be validated in the market first. So generally, startups rely more on MVPs right? They just develop some part of their idea or smaller part of their idea, and they just roll it out to the users to check if it is it's validated, right? To validate it. So using DhiWise, the MVPs can be created very easily and in an efficient manner, so that the cost, the time and efforts of that startup or the small enterprises can be saved, and they can invest that time into sort of upskilling their resources or anything, like they can have more work in their plate, and they can have more revenue at the same time.
Right. So recently, DhiWise has launched that Figma to Kotlin code plugin. So now we know that Figma is nowadays booming a lot in this market, where you can design something, whether a web application or app. You can design something and you can then give that design to coders, and then they can code. But you have launched that Figma to Kotlin code plugin. So how is it helpful? Like, can you talk something about it?
So currently, another thing that is trending is UI to code. Right. Everyone is seeking that once I give my UI and I should get the code. It can be any technology: HTML, CSS, React, Vue, or mobile technology. So our goal to or a reason to launch Figma plugin was that some of the developers or designers, right, they don't visit some third-party platforms like DhiWise, right, to provide the design and to get the code. But to have same thing into Figma itself, it can change the whole mentality. You just need to download the plugin, log in into the DhiWise and select the technology and provide the file ID which you need to have the code of it. And the second part is, if I am a designer, let's say, and we are working on a client-based project or sort of things. So as a designer, I would design the whole thing. I would set up user experience as well. And what designer do is they tend to send the Figma prototype to the client to check if it is meeting their needs or not. But with Figma plugin, what designer can do is they just need to provide that file, the code will be generated, and they can share the original application to the user or the client. So that way, the client will exactly know that what will be the end result of the product that they will be using. So that is also a part of it, a reason of why we have launched the Figma plugin at the same time.
So what are the current technologies that a student can work on DhiWise?
So in DhiWise currently we support both the technologies, as in front end and back end. In front end we do have React.js, which can help you to generate the admin panel of a back end if you have so. Then mobile app technologies, there are Android, iOS. In iOS we provide XIB and Swift UI support. Swift UI will be rolled out in a month, and then we do have a Flutter. In backend we do have Node.js, Laravel, and which supports Postgre, MySQL, SQL Server, and MongoDB. These are the 4 databases that we do support right now.
So what problems does such platforms face while scalability, or like what are the competitors do when such platform is launched? So you want to talk about the future scope or anything?
Yeah, so if we talk about future scope, then there can be 2 different things. First, a shorter term goal, and second, the longer term. So in shorter term, if we speak about mobile technologies, then our main goal is to automate or generate the 90% of with 90% accuracy of no matter what design you give us in the input. Currently we do have accuracy around 50 to 60%, and if you want to have 100%, then we do have a feature called change view. Let's take an example that there is a button, but DhiWise has identified it with some other view. So what you can do is you can convert that view into button using DhiWise panel. So eventually you will get the 100% thing when you download the code. if you go through that. And for backend technologies as well as mobile technologies, we are working on logic builder part. So currently there is no way that you can build custom logic or write your own logic into DhiWise. That has to be done once you download the code. So we are working on that feature as well. So it can increase the productivity or automation by more 20 to 30% across the technology.
So, like, how can a beginner in software development field can take some advantages from DhiWise? Because he doesn't know how to.
Disturbance from can you mute yourself? Thank you.
Yeah. So I was asking, how can a beginner can take advantages from DhiWise?
So just like what I mentioned for student. So as a beginner, I shared my problems, right? That I was facing this and that, and in similar way, of how a student can get benefit from DhiWise. I guess because beginners are also the interns or a trainee or a student, those who just completed the academics. So I would say the same things which I have already.
Okay. So, so this was all about DhiWise. So I want to know some of the hints for being a good developer, because everywhere here is doing web development or app development. So I want to get some hints. Like, you are an industry expert. So what tips you want to give to a second year or third year student who is seeing himself in the development field?
Okay. So. Yeah, there are basic things which you can take care of at this level. You should be clear about the data structures. You should be clear about the object-oriented principles. Then solid principles. Then I would say design patterns. And at last, I would say the architecture patterns. So these are the concepts, of. These are not just restricted to any of the language. If you have these things clear in your mind, then you can go out and work on any of the technology or any of the language you want. It's like a development is like a craftsmanship. So there can be two craftsmen, one who directly starts working on making a table, right, which will be completed in 4 hours. But there is another craftsman who works on sharpening his tools for 2 to 3 hours, and in 1 hour he can build whatever is built by the other guy in 4 hours. So it's all about sharpening your knowledge about the concepts, which are the basic or which are the pillars of development. So another to give is don't rush into things, don't rush into getting the output. First analyze the problem, because analyze is the key which will help you to observe the 360 degree of a problem.
Right. So, like, a final question, how DhiWise started its journey? So I'm asking with respect to startups. So what are the steps of doing a startup in India, like such a good platform you have built? So so that's my question.
So DhiWise started from a pain point. Actually, we have been in service business since 8+ years, and we have served 100+ clients with in different domains, from e-mobility to healthcare to diamonds to e-commerce. With that, most of our projects were successfully executed and delivered according to client satisfaction. But we do have some failures. So once we started to retrospect it, what exactly is going wrong, then we landed on 3 of the problems that we figured out through our failures. The first one was the resource scarcity. The second one, again, managing the talent pool of resources, right? And the third one was, the developers have been working on certain things like repetitive, mundane, and illogical tasks. What we just talked earlier, right? So these were the three things that we faced, and we thought that we are the only one who is facing such
Right.
issues.
Issues.
But currently, if we look on LinkedIn, if I look on my LinkedIn wall, then one post out of five is of resource hiring. So we talked about 100 plus pan Indian companies. Most of them were service based companies, and we figured out that we are not the only one who has hole in their boat. So that was clear that this problem is relying or is there in the market. So what can we do? So we came up with an idea that how about automating certain things that can make developers' lives easier, or which can ultimately save their time, and they can focus on the core part, or the part that really matters. So in Feb 2020, we started segregating our team, and we started an R&D department to just validate our idea, like a small MVPs, that if we want to switch, or if we want to have a product like this, is that a validation? I mean, to check the validation. Then the results were promising, and in April 2020 we moved out of service business completely, and we started full-fledged DhiWise as a product.
So yeah, it will be helpful for reducing the steps in app development cycle also, right? So for whenever you make an app, you have to do the market research, then you hire the coders, then design, then you have to build the app, then again bugs will come. So this is a complete cycle. You will get the feedback from the customers. So I think that will be helpful in reducing the steps in app development cycle also.
Yeah, you just mentioned about recruiting as well. So there were certain times, that we do have, incoming projects, but because of the resource scarcity, we tend to cancel out those projects. And resource hiring, or that is also a pain part, wherein you will roll out the vacancies, and there will be certain candidates who you need to interview them. Then it's a whole long cycle, and which consumes a lot of resources of your organization, as well as the time. And yeah, with DhiWise, if currently if you use it, almost 30 to 40% of your work is automated, so that time is saved. So you are free to use it in any which ways, either upskilling your resources or getting more projects done, etc.
Yeah, it's great. So it was a nice session, Rahul. So we learned a lot about, you also gave some tips, how can we be a good developer. So that was really nice. So anything you want to ask me, I'm ready to answer.
Sorry?
I am saying that if anything you want to ask me, I'm ready to answer.
Actually, I don't have anything to ask you right now. But yeah, it was a good session for me as well. And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, Shantanu.
Thanks a lot, Rahul. That was a really great session. I learned a lot from this session, and I hope that everyone who had joined, they also learned something. They will be taking something from this session, and they will surely try using DhiWise and get benefited from it. So thank you for.
Yeah, and we are as a startup, we are open for feedbacks as well. So there is a help option, support option, wherein you can go to it and you can submit your feedbacks, or if you think that there is a need of this feature, then you can also post it there. And once you can, if already if that part is already posted, then you can upvote it. So we can take that into consideration as well in our product.
Right. Yeah, so before we end, I just want to talk about algorithms. So we take sessions on technical topics. We have covered Flutter, we have covered React and machine learning. On weekends, we take sessions on Discord only. And we believe if you want to learn in native language, then do it in native language. So that's why we cover topics, that is technical topics in Hindi on our algorithm. So yeah, that's it. It was a nice session. Thanks, Rahul, for joining us. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.